You want the pleasure of...
I really don't care.
I'm happy to get rid of it.
Are you?
Yeah, screw that. Literally.
Literally.
Well, I didn't.
Feedback from family about, the accusations being made against me. I feel like I've been gaslit by some of the family members.
I think there's a natural...
It's the moment that stopped fans in their tracks. A split second of camera time, a sly glance, a loaded comment. And suddenly, everything we thought we knew about Robyn and Kody Brown didn't just crack, it shattered. For years, the Brown family sold us the dream of unity. 4 wives, 1 husband, and a so-called principle of love and equality holding them together. But behind that polished TLC smile was a slow, relentless fracture, built on favoritism, emotional neglect, and a husband who always seemed to have just enough love. For one woman. Christine had been biting her tongue for years. She endured the late-night tears, the forgotten anniversaries, the empty promises that things will get better. But instead, the gap between her and Kody only grew wider, especially as Robyn's shadow loomed over every family decision. The have dates moment might have looked playful to some, but for those who've been watching closely, it carried the sting of something calculated. Was this a spontaneous joke caught on camera, or a perfectly timed, passive-aggressive power play? Was it about romance or control? Hey everyone, it's Sarah here, and welcome back to TLC Sister Wives Recap. If you're as fascinated, and let's be honest, frustrated by the unraveling of this family as I am, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single breakdown of these jaw-dropping moments. And I'd love to hear your take. Drop a comment below. Do you think the have dates line was harmless or a message meant to sting? Because today, we're not just replaying that clip. We're pulling it apart frame by frame and uncovering the truth it might have been hiding all along. ChatGPT said, Christine's life in the Brown family was a masterclass in quiet endurance. For decades, she was the glue, the one up before dawn, making breakfast for a house full of children, managing endless laundry, organizing birthdays, homeschooling, and keeping the chaos of polygamy from swallowing everyone whole. She poured herself into the family without pay, without breaks, and without the recognition she deserved. But as the years passed, the cracks deepened. Kody drifted between homes, his attention increasingly centered on Robyn, while Christine's freeze just for a beat, before letting out a small, polite laugh. Not a real laugh. That thin, awkward one you use when a kid says something innocent, but it hits way too close to the truth. Because the reality was, Ariella had just pulled the curtain back without even knowing it. This wasn't about family unity or closure or togetherness. It was a goodbye laced with years of favoritism, fractured trust, and relationships that couldn't be mended over cake and small talk. The room didn't recover from that moment. It stayed tense. The smiles stayed forced. And Christine, well, she just kept counting down the minutes until she could walk out for the last time and never have to walk back in. It's one of those moments you can feel in your gut before your brain even catches up. The scene unfolds in that familiar living room, warm lighting bouncing off the walls, cameras rolling, everyone sitting in that uneasy family circle setup TLC loves so much. Christine is mid-sentence, her voice calm but firm, the way she gets when she's speaking from her heart. She's talking about moving forward, about her life beyond Flagstaff. Her hands are folded in her lap, but her eyes are steady. The kind of look that says, I've already made peace with this. And then, Ariella pipes up. Her little voice is clear, but the words, they hit like a script someone else wrote. But you should still have dates with Daddy. The room goes still. It's not the giggly innocence of a child making a random suggestion. It's careful. Too careful. The phrasing, have dates, is pure adult vocabulary, and not just any adult vocabulary. It's language Robyn herself has used on camera when defending her marriage. It's that exact talking point she's repeated for years, that time and attention should be equal among wives, even when everyone can see it's not. Christine's smile freezes. You can see the flicker in her eyes. Surprise, maybe even hurt, before she recovers. Her lips press together just slightly, as if she's swallowing her real reaction. She nods politely, but her whole face has shifted. Kody doesn't say much, no chuckle, no attempt to brush it off. He just sits there, leaning back, watching. And Robyn? She's the picture of stillness, her gaze resting gently on Ariella, almost like she's proud. If you watch closely, you can see the subtle shifts. Mykelti glancing toward her mom, Gwendolyn's eyes narrowing for a half second, even the camera catching that awkward shuffle from whoever's holding the boom mic. It's the kind of silence where everyone knows exactly what just happened, but no one dares call it out on the spot. Because that wasn't just a child speaking her mind. That was Robyn's narrative slipping out of a smaller mouth. A soft, innocent voice, delivering a message with all the weight of years of favoritism, deflection, and quiet manipulation. And Christine? She heard it, loud and clear. Kody and Robyn often let, or even subtly encourage, their children to echo adult conflicts and grievances on camera, effectively turning them into messengers for their side of the story. This mirrors moments when other Brown family children have repeated adult narratives, creating a cycle where parental disputes spill into the kids' relationships. The act emphasizes the emotional harm this causes, especially when these dynamics pit children against each other and strain sibling bonds. It's in the quiet moments, the ones TLC's cameras barely linger on, that the most devastating truths reveal themselves. Truly, once a little girl who could run to her siblings with open arms, now sits at a distance from Solomon and Ariella. They share space, but not warmth. It's not that they're openly hostile, so it's worse than that. It's a kind of polite, careful distance that feels rehearsed, like they've been taught where not to step. And then there's Kody. He walks past Truly without a hug, without even a gentle touch on the shoulder. Nothing to bridge the gap that has been growing for years. No, how are you doing? No, I miss you. Just a man moving on to where his attention has already been claimed. It might look like a small thing to some viewers, but in a child's world, that one missed hug can speak louder than any words. It's a signal. It tells her, I'm not your safe place anymore. My arms are for someone else. And the thing about children is, they believe it. They don't have the adult reasoning to say, he's distracted, or he's stressed. They just feel the absence and it settles in. What's worse, Truly remembers a time when it wasn't like this. When Solomon and Ariella were little enough that they still giggled at her silly faces, still pulled her into their games. But now those bonds are frayed, not by the kids themselves, but by the walls their parents built. The cameras catch it in seconds. The quick glance, the space between them on the couch, the way conversations skip over her. And each of those moments is another quiet hears. Heartbreak. Because these children didn't just lose the idea of one big family. They lost the closeness they had with each other. And unlike the adults, they don't get to choose if they want to mend it. It's tempting to see that awkward have dates moment as just a one-off slip, a bad line on a bad day. But anyone who's been watching for years knows it's part of a much bigger, much older pattern. Kody Brown has never just been a father stretched thin. He's been a father who chooses where his energy goes. And more often than not, that energy lands right in Robyn's living room. Think back to the height of the pandemic, when Kody's so-called COVID rules suddenly became the law of the land. He framed them as protection, as a way to keep everyone safe. But the reality was something far uglier. Those rules didn't protect all the kids equally. They created a wall that kept Christine's, Janelle's, and even Mary's kids at a distance, while Robyn's children enjoyed the everyday presence of their dad. While other families got a rare masked drop-off at the curb or an occasional video chat, Solomon and Ariella still got bedtime stories, daily hugs, and unbroken access. And when the rest of the kids pushed back, when they dared to question why they couldn't see their father, the answer wasn't compromise. It was guilt, blame, and more rules. This wasn't just about a virus. It was about control, about creating an inner circle where loyalty is rewarded with affection and independence is met with absence. And over time, that favoritism didn't just strain relationships, it shattered them. So when Kody casually tells Christine and Truly to have dates without him, it's not just a careless phrase. It's the echo of years of choices that told some children they mattered more and told others they'd have to learn to live without him. When you zoom out, the have dates moment isn't just a quirky little scene that made some fans raise their eyebrows. It's another brick in the wall that's been separating this family for years. Moments like this don't just vanish into the background. They stick. They become the quiet proof that favoritism isn't a fan theory. It's a lived reality for the people inside this family. For the kids, it means the trust they once had in their dad as a neutral, steady parent has cracks they can't unsee. For the wives, it's another reminder that no amount of loyalty or sacrifice can compete with the magnetic pull of Robyn and her household. And for the siblings, it creates divides that time doesn't always heal. Because when one branch of the family gets comfort, attention, and special moments, the others are left remembering all the times they went without. The Browns' collapse wasn't a dramatic single blow. It was 1,000 paper cuts like this one. Small, seemingly harmless interactions that over time drained the life out of the bonds holding them together. Each time a child felt unseen, each time a wife watched her needs sidelined, each time the rules bent for one group and tightened for another, the foundation shifted a little more. So was this have dates exchange just a thoughtless, awkward blip? Or was it part of a much bigger, much older pattern? A quiet power play right there on camera? The truth is, whether it was careless or calculated almost doesn't matter anymore. The damage is done, the trust is broken, and the distance, emotional and physical, is now the defining feature of the Brown family's future. And so we come full circle, back to that tiny, loaded moment. The look, the tone, the question, was it scripted? Or was it simply the truth peeking through the cracks? Whether that scene was planned or spontaneous almost doesn't matter now, because what it revealed was bigger than a single conversation. It showed us the blueprint of a family divided by favoritism, held together by obligation, and eroded by years of manipulation. We've seen how those small interactions, those slip moments, can be more honest than hours of confessionals. They carry the weight of history. They echo every ignored child, every one-sided rule, every forced smile in the name of unity. And they leave a mark that no apology, no TLC editing, and no carefully crafted narrative can erase. This is the emotional cost of manipulation, not just in reality TV families, but in any family where power is used to control instead of protect. The scars aren't always visible, but they change everything. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Sarah, and this is TLC Sister Wives Daily. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and tell me in the comments, do you think this moment was real or just another scene shaped for the cameras? Because in the end, sometimes the quietest moments speak the loudest, and once you hear them, you can't unhear them.